Okay, this is episode number 115 of the You, Me, and BTC podcast. That is you, me, and BTC.com if you want to find more. I realized I should be mentioning the website more because I don't do the intro or the outro as much. So yeah, check out you, me, and BTC.com for more shows and comments and whatever. And I'll probably mention it again at the end just to remind you. But we'll get there. I am Daniel Brown, and I'm here with
Tim Baker for YMB and BTC.com. Please check it out.
There we go.
YMB and BTC.com.
Yeah, you're understanding how this works, Tim. That's how it goes.
I can play along very well, especially when it has to do with pushing a brand down people's throats.
Actually, I really want to rebrand. I hate our name, but it's the best name ever, but I don't like it. So anyway, so John is on vacation enjoying the vices of St. Louis, I want to say. I could be wrong. I don't even know if they have any vices there, but whatever. John's not here. Screw him. So instead, we have a much better guest with us today, Mr. Zack Voell. Thanks for joining us today.
No, thanks for having me. This should be a lot of fun. My pleasure.
Yeah, so me and Zach go way back. I've known him since I was like in the cradle or something. That's a complete lie, but sure, why not? So
we were college roommates until Dan Brown quit and left. So.
College? What's that? College? I don't even know.
Somehow Daniel's working that every show now we get back to his stupid job.
Yeah, my filthy rich job that is not at a bank like Jon Stewart. Ooh,
yeah, no, you are better than...
All right, so I guess the place we're going to start here with Zach is he's been experimenting, like the kids do. They experiment a lot when you're getting older in college, whatever. He's been experimenting with local Bitcoins, which, it's been around for ages. Everyone knows about local Bitcoins, and but I've never actually used it. I've explored the site. I've thought about using it just for fun, who knows, whatever, but I never actually did. But Zach tried it out. So, Zach, what's going on at local Bitcoins? How'd it go?
Yeah, all right. Right off the bat, I've had a terrible experience with local Bitcoin. It was heinous. And previously, whenever I wanted to cash out a little bit of Bitcoin, and I would just use Wall of Coins and occasionally BitQuick. It worked pretty well, but
so that's not a paid plug. We actually use Wall of Coins quite a bit.
Okay, yeah,
we talk about them all the time, and they have paid us in the past. But this is legit. He actually used Wall of Coins, so I'm just letting our viewers know,
Yeah, Wall of Coins is actually a great site, but I wanted to try something else. Came across local Bitcoin, and so my understanding, I'm relatively new to the cryptocurrency game, almost a year or so, and I blame all of my involvement completely on Dan Brown.
That's right, you know it.
So I got into local Bitcoin, and they have, I think I don't have it in front of me, but over a dozen different methods that you can connect with buyers or sellers and exchange Bitcoin for dollars. Everything from mail orders to Venmo to Square Cash to meeting in person, the whole shebang. And I wasn't about to get in my car and drive to meet someone, so I tried Venmo, a pretty common digital wallet. And I started with a small transfer. I wasn't really sure. And once I saw the deposit, the US dollar deposit in my Venmo, I released the Bitcoin. It seemed pretty okay. The deposit cleared to my account and so forth. So then I sold, my original sale was about 0.25 Bitcoin. Then I sold a full one a couple days later after the deposit cleared. And I connected with another seller who right off the bat was really sketchy because he was offering to buy one Bitcoin for over $800. And my initial impression was who the hell would buy it? Yeah, who the hell would do this? And I'm like, but if he's legit, I'm not going to give up making a shitload of money. So I sold him 0.1 Bitcoin, and I was like, look, you sound really... I just straight up told him in the message board, this is really sketchy. No one in their right mind would buy Bitcoin for this much. So I'm going to wait for this deposit to clear, and we'll go from there. He's like, all right, fine. I'm here whenever you need me. So I'm like, all right, dude. So the deposit cleared. I waited a couple days.
Wait. So did you send the money first, or did he send first?
No. So he sent the money first, and then I released the Bitcoin once I saw the deposit.
Did you wait for it to deposit into your bank account or just into Venmo?
In hindsight, I should have done that, but it actually worked. It initially worked out fine because it deposited into my Venmo, which I used first, and then I released the Bitcoin, and then like a business day or two later, the money from Venmo deposited in my bank account. So
okay, nice.
That was all fine. So at this point, I'm selling to two different individuals trying to liquidate some Bitcoin via Venmo, and then my Venmo gets locked down and frozen. I get emails from their support. I'm like, what the hell's going on? They're like, some transactions, like the amount and source or payment method of the transactions is suspicious, so we're freezing your account until we like determine what's like going on. So at this point, I was like, all right, I just want to sell some more Bitcoin. So I created a Square account, Square Up, not Square Cash, Square Up, which is accessible for or able to be used for higher volumes of sale and so forth. And I kept selling to the two different individuals or two different sellers. Transactions were clearing into my Square account and my bank account. And in total, I probably sold like $500, $600 to each seller. And so, long story short, the way it ended up just getting completely I don't know. You can edit this out if you want, but just butt fucked.
No, that just makes every show better. It's in there, man. The only thing you can't say is if you say that, unless Tim says it, we have to bleep it. Tim's the only one that can say that.
Okay. Well, I basically just got bent over and railed because the one transaction, like all of them got flagged for volume, and the one guy ended up using like a fraudulent or overpaid or expired or something credit card. I don't really know what the deal was. And so with Venmo, though basically both of them were just like 50% of this is me just being an idiot, but I proceeded in my estimation with reasonable caution and waited for the transactions to clear. And then the amount of money being exchanged and the payment methods that I was being paid with for each respective seller made the problem just huge, or just like made the problem on its own. And so my Venmo was frozen, and a couple days later, after emailing their support back and forth, they're like, okay, your account's unfrozen. And I logged on and my balance was zero. I'm like, where the hell's my money? They're like, well, we took it.
Wow.
Yeah. And then with Square, my account is officially deactivated, and they so my account is deactivated with Square, and I will be released the funds sitting in my account, my balance, in 90 days after they review all the processes. But I've already had 2 transactions over the past couple of weeks revoked and subtracted from my balance because of fraudulent payment methods or something. So maybe in like local Bitcoin's original days when you met up with someone like locally and exchanged Bitcoin, it was fine. But like I wouldn't even want to sell Bitcoin to someone on that because I would have to wait for them to release it after I sent payment and so forth. And like Wall of Coins and Bitquick, in my opinion, are just way more secure, reliable sites. I was not a fan of, and this was like a whole month process, like a month long process of waiting. And
so how much was it that you actually lost, or do you just have like negative balances that you're just going to let sit there, or did you actually lose money?
Negative balances where?
Like on Square Up or Venmo?
Venmo, I have a zero balance. They just took the money and then reset my account, and they haven't gotten back to me on like when I'm getting or if I'm getting that money back. Square, my balance is still intact, but every dispute, a couple transactions are being revoked and subtracted from my account. So like 2 or 3 $500 invoices, which is the way Square Up works. You just send invoices and they pay you through their email. Those are being canceled and subtracted from the balance. So overall, I lost about like $1,200 to $1,500 of my money, and potential profit, like probably double that. So the potential the potential profit was never money I had anyway, but like the money I did lose stung a little bit. So
yeah, that's pretty crazy.
I imagine that sucks pretty bad.
Yeah, Tim. Let's see if your theory there is correct. You give me $1,500, I'll just keep it forever, and we'll see if it sucks pretty bad.
Like as an empirical thing?
Yeah, we'll just
figure
test
out
it
how much it sucks. I mean, I feel like we don't have to go through this. If you do have comments, you can comment or tweet us. Tweet us at our Yumi and BTC, or come and comment at yumiandbtc.com.
There you go. There you go. Well, hey, this is here's the thing. We have a tweet from Bitcoin Bell. She was our guest last week, and she, because I tweeted tonight, hey, we're going to talk to a relatively new Bitcoin trader, I think is what I said. And her tweet is like super technical, like, like you don't, okay, I'll just read it. Risk analysis, risk tolerance, position size, honoring stops, cutting losses short. That, honoring stops, I don't even know what that means. Position size, okay. I mean, so yeah, whatever. I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't think Zach is that far. Like, he's not like all day, every day trading the stock market or something. He's just having some fun trying to see if he can make some money. We all know how that goes.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, Zach. I think the other three sort of apply. Risk analysis, risk tolerance, and cutting losses short. So, I mean, I don't even know what the exact question would be, but can you comment on that and just the way you've been going through this and in the past, how has it been, and in the future, what do you hope to do differently for risk analysis, risk tolerance, and I don't know, when do you cut your losses short? Any thoughts about any of that stuff, or the other 2 or 3 topics there, if you know about them and want to share about them?
Yeah. So part of me feels like I should win a Dumbass of the Month award, but then the other part of me feels like it was a gradual process, and I guess in a way it was just letting my wins run. Still, though, the end result was a catastrophe caused by a mixture of just frozen accounts in Square Up and Venmo, transaction sizes that flagged those accounts and invoices and all that stuff. And then with the case of this one buyer, just faulty payment method that there's no way for me to have known about until like a couple of weeks after the transactions were already went through and so forth. So, in my mind, like, obviously, yeah, the one rule of whether you like actually invest in the stock market, S&P or something, or you try and invest and make money in cryptocurrency or any market, key rule is never to lose money, and I just lost money. So that's like
that's a good key rule.
Yeah, well, that's not me. That's investment bigwigs I've read of and stuff. That's number one rule: never lose money. And I lost money, so it sucks and stings a little bit. But you just got to move on. And I'm still like all about learning more and making more money and investing and diversifying into like a couple other cryptocurrencies that I'm looking into. So yeah, it sucks. And I've learned maybe other people have had maybe people listening to this have had great experiences and successful transactions with all sorts of payment methods on local Bitcoin. I haven't. I'm not a fan of local Bitcoin at all. That's just my personal experience, but lessons learned, moving on, still all about getting more involved in the game. But yeah, like you said, I'm not about like mining and analyzing risks and future patterns for cryptocurrency performances and all that stuff. I'm just, I guess I do it recreationally is how I'd put it. So yeah.
Oh man, recreationally, all the more dangerous, No, I agree. I mean, that's honestly, I would love to say that I got into Bitcoin because I was such a visionary. But no, I mean, I got into it because the price...
Why would you love to say that, Daniel?
Because I would love to claim that I'm a visionary, and I would love to be a visionary. What?
You're not a visionary, Daniel, at all. You just like to make money. There's nothing wrong with that.
Oh, okay.
Give up. Give up. Just fucking make money.
Yeah, well, you know what? I'm doing that, Tim, way more than you are, all right? So calm down.
Yeah, yo. Bruh, come on, I'm making more fucking money than you, bro. God damn, you just start throwing that around.
Yeah, I mean, I got into it because the price was going up, and I'm like, hey, let's see if I can make some money. And then, more than just holding it, I said, hey, let's try and trade a little bit, sell sell high, buy low, or buy low, sell high, whatever. Let's try and trade some.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it is attractive when you can make money, but you're right. You have to be careful because in Bitcoin, I mean, scamming, well, I don't know. I would say that scamming is huge in Bitcoin because it's irreversible. And if you can scam for Bitcoin, you're pretty much clear and free for the most part. But I mean, then if you think about fiat currency, I mean, there's a lot of scams there too anyway. So I guess, I mean, the bottom line is scamming is everywhere. No matter what you do, people are going to try and screw you. I mean, that's just a life lesson. That's not a Bitcoin lesson. That's a life lesson.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, let's try and avoid that.
Yeah. Like, you can be screwed by the market by making bad investments, or screwed by people participating in the market. Like, I'm a little bit hesitant to label the shit that I ran into on local Bitcoin as a scam. Maybe one of those buyers was, with like whatever happened with his payment methods. But one of them was just transaction sizes and Venmo and Square Up being screwy, and just like the whole system of how local Bitcoin operates is just a little too risk potent for me. So yeah,
that's actually a good point, and something I wanted to get to. So let's say that this wasn't a scam. Let's say that Square Up and Venmo were just like, and this happens all the time, and it's happened to me with PayPal. It even happened to me on Coinbase, where they're just like, I don't really like what you're doing. It looks weird, so we're just going to shut you down, or we're just going to take your money back. And I mean, I don't know if there's much more to say, but do you have any thoughts there about that? I mean,
yeah, I think it's like equal parts, like maybe scam, but also equally Venmo and Square Up. Like the two reasons that they said the transactions were flagged and like subsequent freezing and cancellation or whatever of accounts happened was faulty, like questionable payment methods. They never really specified what the problem was, but they just said there was something wrong with the payment method. And then the transaction size. So I guess like normatively for Venmo, people exchange $5, $10, $15, $20. And then here I come along with like $500, $1,200 transaction. They're like, all right, what the hell is this? So I think it's just as much their fault too. Like and Venmo, I don't want to rag on them too much, but Venmo is terrible. Like, I'm a decent fan of PayPal, and Venmo is obviously a subsidiary of PayPal. Their customer service is horrendous. They're incredibly difficult to contact. Square Up, conversely, was very easy, and they still screwed me, but they at least did it nicely. Venmo just didn't cut any corners, and yeah, so.
Yeah, well, I completely agree with all that. And the conclusion, really, I mean, if you think about it, that's one of the reasons we absolutely love Bitcoin. Because with Bitcoin, you don't need customer support. With Bitcoin, you can't reverse transactions. You can have faith in it the second it happens. And I mean, that's why it's so risky when you're in that in-between phase between fiat and Bitcoin. It is risky because one of them is so secure and one of them is so insecure. But I'm glad we can come to this conclusion that, you know, when you're sending big amounts of money around with credit cards or bank accounts, you know, everyone's watching, everyone's going to complain about it, and it's reversible. You're subject to the whims of the customer service department and of the, what would you even call it, like suspicious activity review department. I don't even know, but you're subject to them. But with Bitcoin, I mean, you're not subject to anyone. You're subject to yourself and your own competence. And if you can handle your money, then you have your money. And I mean, that's what I would say. I like that about Bitcoin. So
no, yeah, I agree completely. And I've had I guess Coinbase is right on the edge of becoming like the Bitcoin equivalent of PayPal, where they have a lot of just arbitrary control over how your money and payment methods and accounts are handled. I love Circle way more than Coinbase, but yeah, no, I completely agree. That's like, as soon as you mix US dollar exchange wallets or whatever, like Venmo, into the mix, then you introduce the whole list of crap that comes along with fiat currency. So
yeah, and that's a good point about Coinbase and Circle a little bit. You're right, they are becoming kind of the PayPal of Bitcoin, because when you have your money, and this is, we mention this stuff a lot, but you can never say it enough. If you have your Bitcoin in Coinbase or Circle or something like that, they still have control of your money. If you don't have the private keys, you don't have the money. And you're right. That's a super important reminder. We should put it at the end of every episode. No private keys, no money, or something. I mean, I still use Coinbase. I still use Circle, but just as long as you have to recognize though that you're trusting someone else, and then backing all the way up to risk analysis. That's where that comes in. Is you have to say, how much money am I storing with them? How much can I possibly profit? What is my risk? How much am I willing to tolerate that? All kinds of stuff. We can't remind you enough to, if you really want your money secure, you gotta have the private keys. So, are you tired of Bitcoin dice and ready for something different? Try LuckyBit, the original falling coin game, at luckybit. It's the most exciting Bitcoin game on the web. You can bet on 5 different payout lines and win up to 999 times your bet. You can even use their faucet to get some free Bitcoin. Dice is boring. Play different at LuckyBit. Check it out at luckybit. Okay, yeah, so you mentioned a while ago that you were thinking about some other altcoins, and I know that before we recorded, you mentioned Litecoin and Ethereum, and I'd like to get to both of them just a little bit if we can. Sure, let's start with Litecoin. What's going on there? You told me you have some ideas about how it might actually be better than Bitcoin, which I would definitely love to hear. So go for it. Yeah. It's all you.
Okay, so I love to write, and I'm writing this piece right now on Litecoin's potential solvency for the Bitcoin Classic versus like pseudo, or at least significantly more centralized Bitcoin. Not necessarily better, just like an alternative option. And before I say everything I'm thinking about, obviously this is coming from an amateur, I'm relatively new, but I have a couple thoughts which maybe you and all your listeners have already thought through. But as the way I see
it, to be fair, I mean, Bitcoin is already so new that everyone's a newbie to some extent. So everyone, we're open to any opinion at all, and then we'll bash you to pieces because you're probably wrong.
All right, sure, I'll take it. So my idea is, two major things, I guess, that I'm thinking about. Litecoin, just on its face, the way it was created, it processes almost 5 times faster, or I guess a little under 5 times faster than Bitcoin, as far as block size and processing power and so forth, which you were saying earlier with Bitcoin, you can be sure that you have your money within seconds, but obviously now it's 5, 10, 15, 30, 60 minutes.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yep.
Yeah. There's such a high transaction volume right now with Bitcoin, which is fantastic, but it obviously slows everything down and is a key component of the debate to increase block size to increase processing transaction speed and so forth, whatever the correct terminology is. You know what I'm saying? So with Litecoin's speed, and also tangentially the fact that it has 4 times the potential coin quantity as Bitcoin, something like 84 million, which is 4 times larger than Bitcoin. There's a lot of it to go around, and it operates obviously in a similar time release period to Bitcoin itself. So if faster transaction speed is what we want, and we also want to keep the decentralized nature of the Bitcoin idea, cryptocurrency idea, then Litecoin is the next best thing in my opinion. And obviously reducing it to just mere transaction speed may be a completely simplistic, unnuanced perspective of the controversy within Bitcoin. But Litecoin has that going for it. And obviously there's now that I'm saying that, or like that idea comes with a ton of potential problems, like Bitcoin's acceptance into US dollar using companies like Overstock and Amazon and so forth, and how Litecoin doesn't really have anything like that. And other things. And another potential problem I was thinking through was like, well, Litecoin has this, why couldn't we literally use any other eligible cryptocurrency instead of Litecoin? And I have a couple of thoughts on that too. But like, that's my main contention basically, is it's pre-existing faster processing power is what people want Bitcoin to be like. But we also, the opposing side wants to keep Bitcoin decentralized, obviously, and preserve the ideology of the coin. So Litecoin is like in my mind, a great replacement, or at least alternative.
Yeah. So here's a question I have. And well, first of all, I would agree with you that transaction speed is huge. That's a gigantic improvement. But I would also agree with you that it comes with risk because, well, I mean, I'm not a technical expert, but I think what I've heard is like, you know, if the transactions, if the blocks are closer together, then it creates like a higher orphan rate, meaning, I mean, because it takes X amount of time for one found block to move across, to propagate across the network, then it can lead to, if the block time is shorter, and then it can lead to blocks being replaced before they move all the way across the network, which basically means somebody finds a block, they start propagating it, but before another node on the other side of the world hears about it, before they know that the block has been found, they also find the same block and they start propagating it, and then eventually one of those two blocks gets overwritten. That's one of the risks I've heard with a shorter block time, but I don't know if that's the main one, because I mean, 2 minutes should be plenty of time to propagate whatever you need to. I mean, around the world or whatever. Another thing is like with block size and you know, if they're smaller, then it might be more centralized. That was a terrible explanation. That doesn't explain anything, honestly. But yeah, I mean, that's overall, they say that theoretically it could be more centralized if the block times are shorter and the blocks are smaller, anything like that. But I totally agree. Transaction speed is huge. And yeah, I mean, obviously over months and months, the whole thing with the block size kind of includes the transaction speed. And obviously, yeah, everyone's arguing about it, and it's a super important thing to address right now. But, okay, with all that said, you also mentioned, Zach, that you're not sure. Yeah, you mentioned like Overstock and whatever other places that accept Bitcoin. You know, you're not sure if Litecoin can replace it. And so actually this question is pretty much for both of you. Do you think it's possible? I mean, we've been saying for months, and other people have been saying for months, it's really clear that Bitcoin, in terms of market cap and in terms of infrastructure and acceptance, Bitcoin is so far ahead of anything else. And I mean, market cap, it might be 10 times as big, but in terms of acceptance, I would bet that there's 100 times more places that accept Bitcoin than accept pretty much any other cryptocurrency. So my question for both of you is, do you think it's possible to replace that within, say, 10 years? Do you see Bitcoin, is it even possible to replace it with as much ground as it has already? Go for it.
I think something's going to have to happen with Bitcoin that's going to cause it to become like a catastrophic issue before people are going to be willing to jump ship onto something else without that kind of ground.
Okay.
I don't see anything catching up to Bitcoin yet because they haven't run into that kind of a problem yet.
Well, do you think we're running into that right now with the block size and everything? Do you? I mean,
I think
because
we could be, yeah.
in the past week or so, people have been waiting, 18 hours or something for their transactions to go through. I mean, do you think we're hitting that kind of problem right now where something else could overtake Bitcoin?
If something comes out of the gate and maybe can grab the spotlight for something, I think what I'm saying is it has to come at the right time. I don't think, I mean, that's pretty obvious.
Yeah. Like, my main thought on that is, so the whole ideology, my understanding of the whole ideology of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency in general is fundamentally contrary to fiat currency. And with fiat currency, a given jurisdiction has currency rules that only allow you to use the established currency in that. So, for instance, you can't use, like, the euro to buy bread at whatever store is in your city or whatever in the United States because of currency laws in the United States. But with cryptocurrencies, the beauty of it is there's the potential for coexisting market-leading currencies, hypothetically, Bitcoin and Litecoin. So Litecoin and like, it's not a zero-sum game. There doesn't have to be like one collapses so the other one can rise. But in like years into the future, if Litecoin continues to grow and its unique features continue to give it a competitive advantage, Bitcoin can be used by people who prefer its current market-leading attribute as far as like how widely accepted it is, even though they know they may have to wait a little bit longer for transactions to be processed, while people who want transactions to be faster in Bitcoin can switch to Litecoin knowing that right now it's not as widely used, but just like Bitcoin eventually reached that point, Litecoin can too, and will the more people that use it. So like the 2 or 3 or 4 or however many can reach that level. It just like, as far like relevant to the specific debate going on in Bitcoin right now, if people want faster transaction speeds, Litecoin can give them that, and they just need to realize, well, it's not as highly accepted right now, and maybe sites like Shapeshifter and so forth will become a little bit more used in the interim as people like try and make Litecoin more widely. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, that's how I view it. It doesn't have to be one or the other. I think it can be both and, or like 3 or 4.
I think I would pretty much completely agree with you there. And that's been another hot topic lately, like sidechains, they call it, where you have 2 different or 100 different blockchains with different coins, but they can cryptographically transfer between them completely securely. So yeah, your Bitcoin could basically be Litecoin if you need it to be Litecoin, because you can cryptographically securely transfer your Bitcoin onto the Litecoin blockchain. I mean, it would be an exchange. You would switch out your Bitcoin into Litecoin, but it would be a secure transaction. And then from there, you have your Litecoin, you do what you need to do with Litecoin, and if you want to come back to Bitcoin, you can. That's been a huge topic lately. And I think in terms of development, I mean, I'm completely sure that people are working on it. I know Blockstream has been a big company lately, and they're supposed to create interoperable blockchains or whatever. So I'm sure people are working on it, but practically, I don't think that it's very feasible yet. I mean, I don't think there are any side chains that people are using regularly or whatever and converting back and forth between. So we still have a lot of development to go before we're there, but I think I would completely agree. I mean, it's almost inevitable if you can, because then it's like because people talk about the network effect. Bitcoin has precedence because of the network effect. It has a bigger network. But if we had side chains, then adding Litecoin as a side chain, it would not reduce the network effect of Bitcoin. It would increase the network effect of Bitcoin, because then everybody that accepts Litecoin or that uses Litecoin might as well be a part of the Bitcoin network too. So the one caveat I can think of off the top of my head, and these are all kind of new thoughts. So I mean, I don't want to say that all this is fully formed in my head, but the one caveat I can think of is the mining power. I mean, you can't really mine for two coins at once. So Bitcoin has a ton of mining power behind it, and it makes it super secure. But adding Litecoin as a side chain doesn't necessarily make Bitcoin more secure in terms of mining. You still need two different blockchains with two different sets of miners. So I don't know. That's the one thing I can think of. Any other thoughts? I feel like I just talked for 10 minutes straight.
No, yeah, you're right. And like, admittedly, like everything I was saying is like very hypothetical, and there's a huge, like, between what I said and like right now, there's a huge development gap, obviously, because Litecoin isn't anywhere close to the worth and usefulness of Bitcoin. But yeah, do you see, like, do you agree with that? Like, intervening in Bitcoin isn't necessary because of this?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's Bitcoin is facing its troubles. I mean, this is like, I don't know if existential is the right word, but that's kind of what comes to mind. It's like, okay, Bitcoin faces its troubles. We'll get over them if we can. We probably will. But hey, there's other coins too, and if they're helpful, they'll be helpful. Like, whatever, man, just
shit happens.
Yeah, no, I think I agree. But hey, before we wrap up, I want to ask also just briefly, or long, I don't really care, about Ethereum. So I know you're thinking about Ethereum. I know it's also a pretty big topic lately with the price going up and everything. So can you tell me what's going on there, what you think about it, and what you might do with it, anything like that?
Yeah, so, well, as a precursor, if you're like laughing at me for my radical thoughts on the fact that Litecoin can solve the Bitcoin civil war or whatever, I know even less about Ethereum because this is just like within the past week or two that I've started to look at it. So take everything I say with like a handful of salt. So obviously, yeah, Ethereum is spiking. I mean, it was around like the first couple of days of March. So I guess 3 or 4 days ago. And like we all know, all the speculation on it just being like a pump and dump sort of like propaganda scheme. People trying to make some money, which, I mean, I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with that. If people buy it, the price is going to go up. Everyone knows that. So, like, there's no crime or, like, violation in that.
Actually, I like that point.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. People are trying to make money. So, I mean, yeah, just as an aside, as I'm reading all this stuff, people are like, oh, this is heinous. It's just like a pump and dump scam or whatever. I'm like, well, obviously it's not a scam because people know it's happening and they're continuing to buy it, hoping that it continues to go up. So it's just functioning like anything else would when people buy it and the price goes up. The reasons behind why it goes up are like can vary as much as anything else. But I'm gonna buy some Ether, yeah, and just sit on it for a little bit. One of the only wallets that I found useful is myetherwallet.com, and it's essentially a paper wallet, and I'm just going to store it in there. Obviously, right now you can't buy Ether with US dollars. You can only buy it with other cryptocurrencies. But yeah, I mean, it's like over the past couple of days, it's been hovering over the $9 to $10.50 range, and I think it's gonna, like, over the next month or two, we could be looking at like a 12, 15, some people were saying like $20, $25 coin for Ether. I don't know about that, but I think it'll continue to rise a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like I was saying, I guess in probably the middle of this episode, it's, you know, it might be a bubble. It probably is a bubble in some ways. I mean, it might go up way more, but it might end up lower, whatever. But hey, I mean, it got me into Bitcoin. I mean, the price was going up, but I'm like, hey, that's cool. Let's see what it's all about. So yeah, I mean, bubbles they're not ideal. I mean, if people lose money and they get pissed off, whatever. But, you know, a bubble in a truly free market, I think a bubble is only likely to happen if something has some kind of value. It doesn't have to be, I mean, say Ethereum went up to $50. I mean, yeah, it might not be $50 worth of value, but people are interested probably because it has some kind of value. So then people, you get some attention on it. And if it works out, it works out. But I don't know. People could just be wrong too. So I don't know. Maybe that's more existential stuff. Like if it works, it works. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I don't know.
Yeah, and like I think people who get screwed by bubbles call them bubbles. People who win just call them market cycles or market fluctuations or whatever. And like obviously, like people who are like, "Oh, Ether's worthless." Well, obviously, it's not worthless to everyone because people are buying it. And I agree. I think this definitely is a bubble, but like obviously, no one knows how long or how high it's going to go or last. But I mean, that kind of makes it fun too. Like if we knew, there would be no fun in it, and so you just buy and you sit on it and watch it go up and rejoice, and then watch it crash and curse.
Cry.
And so life goes on.
Yeah. Oh man. Life goes on. So
C'est la vie.
So here's the thing,
Bitcoin
Zach.
crash. C'est la vie.
At the end of every episode, whenever we remember and have time, whatever, we do some advice of the day. Each one of us comes up with some kind of advice for the day or advice of the week, whatever. And I don't know, I kind of anticipate some interesting advice of the day. I liked your comment, Tim, shit happens. So if I may, I guess I'll just steal it. I mean, that's my advice of the day. Shit happens. Okay, I mean, it doesn't have to be advice. It could just be a thought of the day or like, a proverb, whatever. I don't know. Shit happens. That's my thought of the week. And so
That's good advice.
Yeah, well, see, here's the thing. Because I'm the host, I get to take it first, which means that you and Tim have to come up with something new. So here it goes. I mean, feel free. I mean, pause if you need to. I can cut it out, but it's your guys' turn. What's your advice of the week?
Okay, my advice is, this sort of goes off of like the risk thing. Like, there's risk in everything you do, especially something as like volatile and new as cryptocurrency. So my advice would be from personal experience recently with local Bitcoin, regardless of how much money you put into cryptocurrencies, make sure you have enough US dollars to buy alcohol if something goes wrong. So
there you go.
Just to make it so you don't cry too much.
Yeah, Dan Brown.
Or you cry enough and you just get it all out.
Yeah.
That was good. That was actually really good advice. All right, Tim, it's all on you. That was good advice from Zach, and I'm surprised you came up with it that fast. But you, Tim, you have the highest seat of honor because you're closing out the episode with your advice. So, don't take this lightly.
Okay. Well, I think nowadays people have a lot of trouble trusting like other people they don't know personally in their life. And I would just, I think that really if you go to youmeatbtc.com
yes.
and check out those guys.
I heard they're great people.
I mean, I know Daniel personally, I know John personally, and I mean, legitimately they're pieces of shit, but
yeah, but you don't know that on the internet. Really, I mean, you don't know who they are.
No, yeah, I might be lying too, and you don't know me, and so actually I'm probably, I'm definitely lying about the first part. This part's real though. Very trustworthy guys, very knowledgeable guys. Get all your info from them.
Wait, where can you get all your info from them?
Well, you can get some info from the Twitter feed at YouMeAndBTC. We love tweets on there. We've been getting a few tweets. It gets Daniel excited.
Oh yeah, really.
And
excited.
Also at youmeandbtc.com, where you can find all the old podcasts and you can leave your comments about how you've gotten screwed over in life. If you've ever wanted us to read your advice to people about how not to get screwed over, and then we will say some variant of shit happens, we don't really care because it didn't personally happen to us, or something like that. So for long-winded advice, there you go.
Yeah, we also have at youmeandbtc.com, we have our world-famous Bitcoin converter. It's our tool. I mean, this is
used around the world proudly by many services.
This is a completely true statistic. it's been used well over 500,000 times in the past month. So, you know, I mean, it's real shit. So, all right, guys. Hey, all you listeners out there, it's been a blast. We've been great. Seriously, we've been so great. So thanks for being here. And Mr. Zack Voell, the relatively new Bitcoin trader, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. Don't slam me too hard on the Twitter feed.
Oh, well, we will slam you. So all you listeners should check it out at you, me, and BTC on Twitter. We'll see you next Thursday, guys. All the music in today's show was from John Stewart. Amazing guy. He's here with us at heart, even when he's getting smashed in St. Louis or something. I don't know.
In heart.
We'll see you next Thursday, guys. Thanks a lot.
Whatever the fuck he does in St. Louis. They listen to music and it serves in loud volumes.